Four comedians are also real good friends, working on jokes, the fun never ends. They're asking each other, is this anything?
Alright, so you're recording all these
Potentially what's
separate
going on.
audios. I'm recording my own audio. We're all recording ourselves separately.
I'm not recording
doing
anything
a
at all.
documentary of us making the episode. So I
Wait, keep holding it, because I'm documenting you documenting it.
Okay, that's good.
So
Make sure you pin Rob while you do that, Anthony.
it's actually a pretty good photo.
This
You guys
is
wanna
my
see?
making
I've also got Leedy. She's going to be drawing this.
Oh, that looks great. Looks fuzzy though.
Yeah.
And it's lagging.
The photo is lagging.
Everybody, Anthony gave me a hard time about trying to establish whether or not everybody was good to go.
Nobody was.
And nobody was. Nobody
Apparently
was good
nobody
to go.
was.
So I think I was right.
I'm sending you guys the photo in the chat.
Oh,
so.
thank God. That's a priority. That's a priority.
Oh God.
Rob, how's your week going, man? How you been?
Good. I was able to do a little dry run rehearsal of Act 1 of the solo show that I've been working on. Brett was able to come out.
Very exciting.
And it was good. It was very informative and stuff. It was interesting because like everybody who was there had heard some pieces of it at some point. So that's always hard for me, just doing things that aren't intended to be funny, to jokes that I know some people have already heard before, stuff like that. So I was trying to get out of my head when it came to that. But great feedback from everybody. Really was able to learn a lot of where I think this kind of needs to go. And then we're doing Act 2, same deal, kind of like a dry run rehearsal of this on Friday, and then Act 3 on Monday. And then we'll do the whole thing in a similar vein, a small group, kind of a dry run rehearsal type thing on Thursday the 11th.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Really,
I can't wait
really
to see
good.
it.
It was really it was great, and it was cool to see because I've seen it a few iterations. I saw when Rob did his Nowhere show, and just the parts he's worked on here, and then parts that we've talked about. But it was cool to really see people get kind of moved at the moving parts, and yeah, it was excellent. I have a question, Rob. Were any of those people from your other writers groups that were they all people that you're like, I like this person specifically, or were some of them like, that's the annoying person? So I was trying to suss out. I was like, are any of these? Everybody's feedback was pretty good, so I thought maybe not.
Yeah. I hand selected the people that I have personally enjoyed to work with and listen to, and some others I asked but couldn't make it. So in case anyone's watching, you'll never be able to know if you are, unless I never asked you, then yeah, you are the person that I don't like, I guess.
They'll never be able to figure it out.
But if you don't, they'll never be able to figure it out. No, I like everybody. But I was able to pick a couple people from the group that were particularly like so enthralled with the thing. They're like, please let me know when something like this is happening. I want to know. I want to follow this. So I was just very sure to have them in there. And I also respect their feedback and opinions and stuff.
Yeah, that's great, man.
When
I like that what Brett said about being able to see everybody's reaction, because that's not necessarily going to be the way that it works when you do the show, unless you do like half of the audience on one side and half of the audience on the other side, and you're in the middle, so they can watch you and watch everybody else being emotionally affected.
Well, that wasn't the reason that it was good.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a cool experience for me for the parts that I had seen already, and then just to be like, oh, I'm crying. Is everybody else crying? Let me make sure.
And then like a Nowhere show, you go through gallery view, you'd be like, all right, Aaron's crying, Bill's crying, Stacy's crying.
Stacey's got a weird background, Stacey.
Jessica's cat is crying. That's wonderful.
Brett, you dipped visually a bunch of times. Was that because you were crying?
No, that was because I was getting insecure about where I was laughing and how loud I was, and the lights were bright, and I was just like, also I could see how big my pupils were.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so I was like, I just need to. It was distracting me from listening to you. When in the beginning you were like, a few very good friends, made sure to tell me to pick a date and do this, and I wanted to be like, And are all of those friends here? Because I knew Jared had a D&D game. But I was like, no, let me shut up.
Did a lot of people tell you that, or did Jarrett tell you to do that? Because I remember very specifically telling you to do that a couple times.
You definitely did. I don't think I said the word a lot.
Was there one other person who
Yes,
told you this?
there was at least one other person who at least suggested, like, hey, this would be a good thing to do, is to set a deadline and da-da-da-da-da, whatever. Right.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, at least I'll share some of the praise then.
But you're the only one who yelled at me, so that was that.
And then you did it.
And was the other person there?
Yeah, Veronica was one of the people who did say that she's like, oh, that would be helpful, to do that that's something you should, if you want to consider moving forward in that way, blah blah blah.
That's cool that she had that follow through.
Yeah.
Is she gonna go on Thursday when you do the whole thing?
She has
Not
this
if I can fucking
campaign
help
that
it.
she's running, but she's canceling it for
I'm gonna be there on that day too.
Sweet.
Are
Yeah,
you putting it all together?
I will put yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Should have just gone on Thursday then.
Is that going to be the whole show? You're
will-
doing the whole.
Yeah, like on Thursday, I'm going to try to stitch all three of those acts together and then do what's effectively like a dry run of it. But I'll be honest, it's like I keep on calling them rehearsals because I want people to be aware that like this is still
It's a
just
work in
like
progress.
go, and it's a work in progress, and I always want to make sure that people are aware of that. And I don't know if I want to make the group that much bigger. I'm not 100% convinced yet, like how big I want that group to be, because I like being able to chat afterwards and get some feedback that didn't feel like a big, messy room with cacophonous opinions and voices and stuff. So I don't know. But I in case you're having second thoughts, Brett, I do appreciate anyone.
oh
who
no,
can-
I'm just joking.
just one act at a time, because then I could just absorb more, and it was more easy for me to handle.
Yeah, Brett. And if you didn't go see Act 1 by itself, you wouldn't have gotten that cool high horse.
Can you guys see what I'm sitting on?
I can't see the high horse. I can just tell you're on one by the way you're talking to me.
It's weird that you were able to get that high horse inside of the tower you're already in.
Yeah, and normally it's hard to build a tower on a cloud up in heaven.
Oh, it's great when we're shitty to each other.
Yeah, it is nice.
Anthony, how are you doing these days? How was your week?
My week has been pretty good. I've been excited about all the new equipment because I got this new guitar, the mic,
That was
the
not-
lighting.
A patron didn't get that guitar for
No, but I started getting unemployment, so I upgraded to a better guitar, and then I've been working on some. I had it set up, but it causes a lot of hum in the audio, so I'm not gonna do it. But I got these drum pads set up right here, so I can sing and play guitar and play drums at the same time. And so I've been working on that. Just
Nice.
I'm excited. Just working on some of my new material that way. And it should be here in time for our Patreon episode. But I have I bought a vaporizer. They didn't tell me when I bought it that I need to buy a separate attachment to be able to put regular weed into it.
It's
So
only
it's-
for like oils or
Yeah,
concentrates.
the concentrate stuff. So, so that I paid extra for the shipping. It should have come yesterday based on how much I paid, but it will be coming today. So when we do our Patreon episode, I'll be able to have the vaporizer right there.
I am really excited about all this new equipment that you have, Anthony, but I do feel like you're being an example of what Republicans talk about when we're saying, like, we can't just give poor people a bunch of money because then they'll just go out and buy guitars and drum
Yes.
sets,
But almost all of it,
vaporizers.
is related to the stuff that I do for a living, or
Yeah,
that used
that's
to
right.
make a living.
So it's all tax deductible.
And the weed stuff is, I had always wanted a vaporizer, but I never spent the money on it. But now that after getting COVID, I'm not going to smoke anymore, and weed helps with some of my anxiety issues. So that's medicinal.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
a
think it's
medical
all
expense. You can write that
it's-
off too.
It's all justified, I think. So I never buy extravagant things for myself.
He says surrounded by his 2 guitars. I'm sorry.
I found very good deals on everything.
I wish your cat came in with like a diamond collar right now.
I want to cut to the next episode when you're complaining about how little money you have.
These pants have a hole in the crotch, okay?
Or maybe you could cover it with a guitar.
This is not even an expensive guitar as far as guitars go.
Yeah, I'm just teasing you, man. I'm sure that these were all they're nice bargain buys, great deals, and we're also 100% necessary for the furthering of the show and your career and your health.
And even if they weren't, I don't give a shit. Like, I was walking with a friend one time, and there was a homeless guy, and I was like, oh, I gave him money, and my friend was like, oh, he's just gonna buy drugs with it, and I was like, you're just gonna buy drugs with it. What difference does it make? We're all buying drugs with our money.
But I couldn't buy anything from the day after Christmas until this week because I wasn't getting any.
So it's like a hose that was bent.
Yeah,
You know? Then when
it
you
was all
unbend
stuff.
And the
Yeah.
hose
Buy
is
all the
filled with
stuff.
guitars.
And I bought. Okay, so I ordered the guitar because this guitar, the jack came unscrewed, so the guitar jack went inside of the guitar, which I don't know if you can tell by looking at it how hard it would be to get it back out.
Mm-hmm.
So I ordered another guitar, but then I was actually able to fix it before the guitar came. But it is a pain in the ass. I thought I was gonna have to take it in to get fixed, and they would charge me probably $100 to fix it, and it's not. It never was the best guitar. So I was like, you know what? This is a good opportunity.
Just
to
give myself a new guitar.
just get a one that's actually good.
It makes a lot of sense also because some joker wrote your name on that other one. Now you have like a nice clean guitar that wasn't vandalized.
I keep meaning to put my name on it, but I don't know.
Yeah, so you'll know if someone steals it.
Yeah,
Brett,
'cause
how's your
nobody
week
can
going?
take tape off of this. They can't.
That's right. Brett, how have you been, man?
I'm okay. I'm in a cluster episode. So far, I've been able to.
Ooh, how'd you book
Season
that?
3?
What's that?
Same joke. Same joke.
What's that?
What did you say? I missed
I
that.
said, how'd you book that? And Rob said season 3.
Cluster
Yeah,
episode, season 3.
making a guest appearance in a cluster episode. They actually booked me recurring for every 6 months. I'm gonna be on an
Ooh,
an
that's a good
episode.
gig. That's a good gig.
Yeah. So far the mushrooms have been working, but I'm on the 3rd dose. Was yesterday, and it's just the first one is really fun. Of doing mushrooms because you're tripping and it's been a while. It's a fun experience. The second one, you're like, okay, it's fun, but this is like an 8-hour high, and I'd like to do some other things. And the third one, you're just kind of like, I got to do this, and I'll see if I can get work done simultaneously while tripping on mushrooms. Which I did a decent job of, but yeah, I'm just and it fucks with your sleep, and I'm just a little out of sorts. But overall, I've been able to, because I'm home all the time, do the mushrooms earlier in the day so that I get a little bit better sleep, and that's been great.
That's awesome, man.
Nice.
Yeah. Can you trigger I know you're like in these 6-month intervals, but if you're like 3 months into a period of time when you shouldn't have cluster headaches, can you trigger them by like fucking up your sleep cycle?
So far, I mean, it's possible. I very rarely have breakthrough episodes. But the one thing that'll trigger it is if I go to a crazy change in sun exposure. That will tamper with the hypothalamus and can create a cycle change.
Does that mean that you meter your sun exposure?
I make sure to not have a drastic change. So I've been inside a lot because it's been snowing and I just haven't been going outside. So if I were to I wouldn't go for a hike today. I would have to be like, okay, I'm going to go for a walk. That's like a 10-minute walk today in the sun at 1. And then 2 days later, I'll go for a little bit of a longer walk. I have to really.
Oh, you have to ease into it.
Ease into it, yeah.
Do you go to the beach with those hats that old ladies wear?
No.
I use an umbrella, Anthony, like an adult.
I thought he would laugh at that, but he didn't like it.
A parasol, excuse me.
A parasol, yeah.
All right, cool. You guys ready to hear our order for this week?
Yeah, I
I
want to hear
can't
the order.
wait for the order.
All right, turn it on the jar machine. Beep, 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 doot, doot, doot.
Ooh, I had a really fun interaction with. Well, it was fun to me yesterday on mushrooms. Actually, it wasn't that fun, but somebody.
Actually, it was terrible.
Last episode we released was the episode where we talked about the feedback on the order and how much we talk about it, and we talked about it the entire episode. And somebody said I had to rewatch this 4 times, so because I kept forgetting what the order was, and so I responded, "Sorry about that. That's great feedback. We'll try to talk about it more in future episodes."
Somebody tweeted about the order. I forget who it was.
That was nice.
Oh,
It
that's
was
awesome.
it was something like pay attention to the new episode. Pay attention to the order in the new episode or something, and it was quote tweeting our tweet about the new
That's great.
episode.
Oh,
So
nice.
people are loving our just us playing with how much we talk about.
Maybe
order.
one of our T-shirts can be all of the 4 letters, all the orders of every episode we've done so far.
I
Ooh, that's
love
a
that
good
idea. The Jarb algorithm.
Garb,
I
Love
barb.
it.
If I saw somebody wearing that T-shirt, I would be like, "Are you okay?"
Do you think you're a geneticist, but you got the letters wrong? It's supposed to be Gattaca, not Brajaba.
That would be a great shirt. So easy to make too.
No, that's a great merch idea. I'm making it. All right. Our order this week. Jarb, 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 jarb. Jarb, 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 jarb. New noise.
Drop, 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 drop.
Is Rob, Jared, Brett, and Anthony.
Oh boy!
Rob,
Oh,
Jared,
shit.
Brett, and Anthony. Rob, Jared,
Right.
Brett, and
I had this
Anthony.
feeling that I was
Mhm.
going to be first. I really did. Probably
Yeah.
because I was very underprepared. So that's why
Yeah.
I was like, I'm probably
We have been getting a lot of feedback about not talking about the order enough. So how does everybody feel about where they are in the
I-
order today?
You know, it's been a while since I've been last. Ever since I said I was okay with being first, I've been pushed to the front. And
Yeah, you needed to.
now I'm
This
last
I did not
again.
want everybody to actually talk about this. I thought this was funny. All right,
I
Rob.
actually had some thoughts about it. It made me feel some things.
I actually literally forget if I've brought this to you guys already, like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, because I think I brought it to Anthony's show, and so I don't remember. Then we did the live show. I got very confused. So it has to do with you can stop me if you've already heard it. It has to do with people who have near-death experiences and the doctors that like operate on them.
Nope, doesn't sound familiar to me.
But Anthony, does it sound familiar to you?
Not to me either,
Oh,
surprisingly.
well then this is not. Well, then-
Anyways,
That was
a
a
horse walks
bad-
into a bar.
This is fun. What a little mystery. Who did Rob tell this joke to?
I know I
'Cause
told
it wasn't
you.
any of us.
It probably was me. I'm sure I'll recognize it when you start.
Yeah. So whenever somebody gets shot or gets into a horrible car accident, and they get rushed to the hospital, they get operated on. For some reason, the doctors always like they have this hard on like telling the family or telling the patient how close they were to dying. They're just like, oh boy, if the bullet was just this much further that way, you'd have been a goner. Oh, you're lucky that car. I mean, it just, if it punctured you right here, yeah, you'd have been dead, It's such a weird thing. It's like, first of all, the body's very small. So I'm assuming that, yes, a couple inches here and there would have been death as well. But then I also never see it the other way around, right? No one's ever standing over a cadaver just like, oh boy, man, that much. And your husband, you would have had a husband still. That's inches, man. It's a game of inches. It's crazy.
I love it. That was my one idea. I was like, the reverse is gonna be so funny when you go like, 1 millimeter to the left, and we are not at a funeral today.
You'd still be a
Children
parent.
would know their
But-
father.
But what?
I said your children would know their father. 1 inch to the left.
But even a couple of inches would not have made a difference for JFK.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
I love
Too dark.
getting fake offended by
That's
that.
not true.
Well, it would have had to be a couple inches this way, a couple inches that way, a couple inches that way, there would have had to been a few inches.
A couple inches back into the left. back into the left, back into the left.
Yeah, if it was forward and to the right.
I think that there's also room for how funny it is that they are all very small increments, because no doctor is ever like, you know, you get hit by a car, it runs over your leg, and the doctor's like, if this car had been miles away, then you would have been fine.
Wow, if this guy shot somebody else, you would not.
Yeah, how many hypotheticals do a doctor do they have to tell you when they give you the diagnosis or when they talk to your family?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? It's one of the last moments that I remember thinking about this was also about timing, because my friend of mine got really sick. He went to the hospital, and they're like, "Boy, wow, if you came 30 minutes later," and I'm like, what's the purpose of saying that? Do you want to just build yourself up and just isn't there enough drama in this scenario already? Do you have to, is it sweeps week? Why do you have to build yourself so much?
It feels like a weird like business strategy. Where
Right.
they're like, "Hey, you should come here more.
Oh, that's funny.
We're great."
Yeah, it's very similar to like, it's a good thing you got here. This is the last one of these jackets that we had. People were calling all week asking me to hold it for them, but that's our problem. We don't hold things. So, first come, first serve. You got here. It's a
Come
very
early
good
next
link
time.
up.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a 2-for-1 limited heart surgery.
And similar, like, there's not a lot we can do right now. If you'd come 30 minutes earlier, we could save the leg, but,
I do like this idea that there's like a doctor, and he opens up and sees how close the bullet is to the heart, and he's like, "Oh!" Like they're genuinely surprised every time.
Nobody breathe.
This thing is so close to his heart.
Everybody be very careful. It's so
everyone's taking out their phones.
And the doctor pulls it out, and he's like, "Don't touch the sides. Don't touch the sides." When you were talking about Sweeps Week, it made me think about like maybe like a reality show, and they're like, you know what? He's been voted off.
The guy who died.
The guy who died.
Yeah, or there's a confessional with the doctors.
What is Sweeps Week?
It is, from what I remember, it is a week time when they are testing the ratings, like the Nielsen ratings, or they're collecting data for what shows are being watched and not being watched. And so I think that TV shows historically have gone over the top to try to make sure that they have the most balls to the wall. You have to must see TV for that week or that month or whenever they're doing it.
That feels accurate to me.
But I
Yeah.
remember it feels like an old thing, like as if it's not a big deal anymore. Like it was big in the 90s and the early 2000s because TV was more TV, and now, just a little bit differently measured. I don't know. Someone could check on that.
Someone could call in.
I
in
don't
the
know.
comments.
I like when we just feel it out.
Yeah. Maybe Matt Pinfield knows. I have no idea.
You guys know that thing where you're trying to remember like the name of a celebrity and you don't look it up, you just think really hard and eventually it pops in?
Mm-hmm.
I tried that yesterday with Sigourney Weaver and I failed. That's it.
You looked it up?
Yeah, it was
You
actually
just-
Tiger
'cause
Woods.
You just said it.
I tried with Sigourney Weaver, but I failed.
Kirsten was like, "What do you think about the name Ripley?" And I was like, I like it, except that's Sigourney. That's what's her name's character from the Aliens movies. And she was like, "Yeah, what's that actress's name?" And I was like, "Let's not look it up." And so she looked it up. And I was like, "No, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out." And then I sat there for like 5 minutes, just going like, "Is it like O'Connor something?" And I was like trying on letters like G, J, Susu,
Is that how your brain works?
And then eventually I just like gave up. So I was like, yeah.
I think Kirsten was trying to tell you something. She's like, "What do you think of the name Ripley? Because believe it or not, I'm pregnant."
I was trying to do a believe it or not thing.
And she never got to say that because he was like, no, I got it.
Still doesn't know.
She's like rubbing her belly, like, because, and I'm like,
Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
it's like, I'm looking it up because there's something important that I want to tell you after this. I'm like, okay, you can look it up, but don't tell me. I'm going to figure it out.
I wrote a sketch one time that had to do with that doctor riddle, where doctor comes in, person comes in the office, the boy comes in, his father got into a car accident, the father died, the boy was rushed to the hospital, the doctor comes in and says, I can't operate on this boy, he's my son. But what I did is we just had the scene play out. So the doctor comes in wearing a surgical mask and head, you can't tell who the doctor is. And so one of the other doctors says, like, oh my God, this father and son just got into a car accident. The father died and the boy's been rushed in and here he is now. And then the doctor comes in, says, I can't operate on this boy. He's my son. And the other doctor's like, oh, it's a riddle. All right, okay. I got it. He's like, well, operate. He's like, oh, no, hold on. I got to figure this out. Like, no. It's like, wait, yeah, but who's the operating doctor? I'm like, who cares who's the operating? Just operate. I know. Don't tell me. I like figuring this stuff out. That reminded me of that.
Because we know the dad is dead.
He's like, yeah, he's in the morgue, for God's sakes. Okay, all right.
Isn't it so funny that this used to be a riddle? Where today we would be like, all right, well, he's got, a mom, and women can be doctors, or maybe dad's gay, could be another male doctor.
They
But in
cloned
the
the
90s, we were
dad.
like, there's only one thing that happens. There's a man who's a doctor, and that's it.
Great riddle.
Great riddle. Top 10.
Top 10 riddles. Wow.
All right.
What's
Anybody
your
else got
favorite?
anything for?
What are you guys' favorite
Ryan?
riddles?
Okay, you're in a cage and there's a piano.
You're in the cage and there's a
Ooh,
piano.
that's a great riddle because you don't even have a question at the end of it. It's just
How do you get out of the cage?
You have to find the right key.
That's it.
Yeah, all right.
That is a good one.
I love riddles. They're great.
That's why I try to make all of my jokes riddles.
That's why I love figuring them out.
and the answer to all of Anthony's riddles are, oh, it's funny.
Thanks, Jarrett.
All right. Okay, so here's my bit for today. When people talk about drinking or they talk about doing drugs, sometimes they will say, I just got to turn my brain off for a little while, It's like, want to smoke a little weed, turn my brain off for a little while. Or I just want to get hammered, turn my brain off for a little while. But you're not really turning your brain off when you do drugs. You're kind of like turning your brain into different mode. You're like switching your brain over to different mode. It's like if you had a bike that had a different button on it, and when you pushed it, it turned into a skateboard. Like it's the same, but it's different. Like the other day I was high.
Writing this joke.
The other day I was high. And I thought, in the past, when you had a band, you'd be like, this is my guitar player, this is my drummer, this is the bassist, but we need another guitarist. But now, you're going to be like, well, I need a boop boop guy. Who's your boop boop guy? I need a boop boop guy for my band. You see? It's not off, it's different. So the idea there, I thought like the thing that it needed was like an example of different
Is this
mode.
still the joke?
No. Now we're in the analysis part of it.
I was actually kidding about that part.
Yeah, so I thought that it needed like an example of high thought or drunk thought in order to elucidate it. But I just really liked the phrase different mode because of how unhelpful it is. Like TVs have off and on. They don't have like off and different.
Well, my biggest thing is that your example is more low powered mode, and that is kind of an in between
I do
of
like
off and
low-powered
on.
mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of some kind of
Power
technology
saver.
thing, low battery, or what is that? Yeah, low power.
Energy saver, energy
Yeah.
efficient, low power mode. Yeah, I like those lines.
Low power mode.
Because then you're like you're bad with words, and you're like a boop boop guy.
Mm-hmm.
Low power mode's great because I do just imagine people, like when you just like you're still moving around, you're still doing things. You're just like, okay.
Oh, Rob's here. Oh, he's in low power mode.
What, Rob? What you just did reminded me of. It was like you were doing a Keanu Reeves impression, which I like.
You say whoa?
That is
Whoa.
the low power mode is more accurate, but in that edit, we have gotten rid of the thing that I love the most about this joke, which is the idea of a button that said different mode on it.
Yeah,
I think
with mushrooms, I feel like it's different mode.
It's different mode. Yeah.
Yeah, but with weed, it's more a little bit low powered.
Yeah.
But that's kind of funny to think about low powered machines, that they're actually like, this is better. They don't realize they're less efficient. They're just like, I'm so creative right now.
It was like
And it
a
has to-
train in low power mode, just going like way slower, and the guy who's driving it is just like, what am I gonna pick up when I get there? Is it gonna be the thing that I need? Will it still be there? I don't know.
What were you gonna say, Anthony?
Oh, does it have to be different mode? Because I'm imagining like there's a remote control and it says on, off, other.
Other mode is funny also, but I like different mode. I don't know.
I do like different mode. That is kind of funny to me.
I think that you could have leaned into it more. Like, if you made it very obvious that you wrote all of this while you were high and in that different mode, I think I would have appreciated different mode more if you just like went all out with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's not a lot
And
of
maybe even if you addressed in somewhere in the joke that you wrote it high.
Yeah.
Like it got so ridiculous that you had to be like, I don't know, I was in different mode when I wrote this.
That's great. I like that a lot. That's really funny. Yeah, I feel like that's all we can discuss right now, just because the idea is so loosey goosey.
I want to
Well,
say
and-
that I love boop 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 guy.
Yeah, boop,
Yeah.
boop, boop.
Boop
Yeah.
guy as a separate joke.
Yeah, as the evidence for this joke, or as a separate joke entirely. I love the idea, like back then when you needed a band, you just needed a guitar guy, a bassist, a drummer, someone who could sing, and now you're like, man, I need a boop boop guy. Where's that? That's great. That's super funny.
What it made me think of was in the late 90s when every band had to have a DJ, regardless of what kind of music it was. Like all the way down to like the Hanson brothers. There's like a DJ scratch in that Bop song, and it's like, why? Is that necessary?
That guy's on the
Who's even
road
doing-
with
Yeah.
Hanson just for that one moment.
Everything had a DJ scratch. It didn't matter if there was any hip hop influence in the kind of music. So that was what your boop boop guy reminded me of.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well. All right.
I think
yeah.
it's harder because you love different modes so much.
Well, yeah.
think
I
it's harder
mean,
to-
the feedback that you guys have given me has given me a lot to, There's a way to make this joke work now, but it's so unrefined at the moment that I'm like, oh god, like which direction how do we even start this, as a group? But yeah, no, that's good feedback. Anyways, I wonder if anything's short that I can do in addition. This might be fun. Cut this out, whoever is editing
hope
this
it's you.
episode. All this.
I hope it's
I have to say, I get now that I edit episodes, I get kind of like offended when I will say like, Anthony, can you edit this? And I'm like, I'm editing that part out for sure because I edited this episode. I'm not having other people think that Anthony edited. Cool graphics and
you edit in another clip of you going, I did this episode.
I don't have anything that short in my slush pile, so I'll just call it. That'll just be my time for today.
All right. That was Jared
Yeah.
Berenstein, everybody.
Thanks
Yeah,
for your
man.
feedback, guys. Next up, we got Brett Druck. But before we do that, just want to remind everybody to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/ITDApod. Got some new tiers that just went up at the beginning of March. Some cool new benefits. Rob is... Whoever edits this episode, it is your call. You can put graphics there. You can make Rob pointing to whatever you want. You can put a dick there. And Rob is just
everything he
pointing
points to is going to be a dick.
a bunch of dicks.
That one's going to be a flute, though.
Oh man, I love that.
And it'll be like Rob's favorite dick, Rob's second favorite dick, Rob's third favorite dick. Our Patreon.com/ITAPod. A lot of great exclusive episodes on there. A lot of great benefits. The infamous high writing challenge that everyone's talking about. Story time with Is This Anything? Some great a Halloween episode. Patreon.com/ITAPod. And now,
The stunning conclusions.
Previously.
Previously on this episode.
Previously.
Cluster headache.
Oh my god, we're about to lose this patient. There's blood everywhere. Oh my god, if the bullet was only this far away. We need a boop boop guy.
Different mode.
I bought a lot of stuff.
Now the thrilling conclusion of this episode of This Is Anything. Brett Drake, everybody.
Thank you. So sometimes this is gonna be clunky, but sometimes a person will give me all the ingredients to make a joke that is not appropriate. And I forget that because they don't understand joke structure, that it's not permission for me to make that joke, but it never feels that way. I'll give you two examples. One time I did a show, I was talking to some of the audience afterwards. We were standing in a group, and this girl is talking about how she... people always say that she seems more mature than she is. And I said, yeah, just from the minute that I've been talking to you, you do kind of have an old soul. I get that. And she was like, but my aunt was saying the other day that I have like these bags under my eyes, these dark circles. And I was like, old body too. I was like, how can I not? And then she was like people laughed, but then she was like upset. And I was like, but you asked me to do that, right? You put down all this information. You said this. I said this. What else was I supposed to do? You saw I'm a comedian. You just watched me be very funny on stage.
I love that.
The other example was recently I went to go get a COVID test. And when they stuck the swab up my nose, the nurse said, does that help? Because I was like squinting. And I was like, I don't think it helps. It's just a reaction to the sensation. And she's like, because men always do that. They always like make that face. But women don't. They never, they just stand there and have the swab. And I wonder why that is. And I was like, they're used to being penetrated. How can I not? How can I? It's right there. All of the ingredients. It's like putting flour and then chocolate chips and then eggs and sugar and then a mixing bowl and being like,
women want to be penetrated.
Cookies. Why did you make cookies with that?
It's like if you ordered a dresser from IKEA and all the pieces came and you were like, nah.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that.
That's
Throw it
perfect.
away.
I love that. That's exactly how it feels.
I wonder if there's a better way to introduce this concept, or even if you do need to introduce it, because I kind of think it would work if you just went into the story and then sort of described the phenomenon.
Yes. That's what I was thinking too. That you could flip it, where you tell that first story, not knowing where it's going to go, and then
That makes sense.
and then you say that you had all the ingredients and stuff.
You could almost do what Steve does in his opener, where he talks about hosting the Teen Celebrity Awards or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where he goes through the story and then he stops it like right before the awful thing that he says, and sort of explains the phenomenon that he went through in that moment. And so you could do a similar thing where you like start telling the story, and then she says the thing about the bags under her eyes, and then you go, and as a comedian, this is, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Like getting all the pieces to an IKEA furniture and then not building it.
Yeah.
because you kind of did it again, even though you started with that. You sort of hinted at that when you told the story. So I feel like if you just left it out.
Yeah, it was just a very loose structure in my head of like, these things are both funny, but I'm not quite sure how to describe. But I have these thoughts of like, I can't resist. Like, obviously, I'm going to do that. It's a no-brainer. I was just kind of speaking freely in between telling the actual stories.
Yeah, But I had the thought even before you sort of reiterated that idea. But then, because you did anyway, I think it makes sense that you go into the story and they don't know where it's going to go.
It seems to me that, like, is there a way to make the audience so know what the joke should be before you hit that joke? Because even with those two jokes, I still think that it takes you being a little bit clever in order to get there. So I wonder if, like, the audience sees it too, and you're just like, how do I not say blah or whatever? I don't know if that's what you want or not. Or you can just deliver the joke as is and go, how do I not say that? Either way is fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was trying to get with my intro, because I think, to me, it seems like
yeah. Oh, right. That's
like
true.
like
This is a special talent of yours. This is a
yeah, or it's no, but it just seems like anybody could do this to me. So obviously, I would make these cookies. Anybody could make the cookies.
Yeah.
Everybody knows how to make the cookies. All the ingredients are here, but I forget that other people see that and they're just like, oh, look, there are just some chocolate chips, and there's a bowl, and
Right.
there's a spatula.
I don't know what to
you
do
know
with
what-
those things.
Yeah, that's weird.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of, like, professors in college who are very, like, good at what they do, but they're bad at teaching, and they don't understand why their students don't understand the subject matter, and they're like, guys, this is easy, come on, you know. And you're doing the comedian version of that. You're just like, I don't. You call him fat. I don't get it. He just said all the things. So why aren't you insulting him? Like, I don't know.
I think I'm just thinking about now that a cool way to differentiate between the two stories would be, in one story you use to describe the phenomenon, and in the second story you actually go into the thought process. And in the thought process one, you could describe it like you have all this momentum, you have this snowball that happens. Like this is what it's like being in a comedian's brain.
Yeah, I like
and
that.
so she says, yeah, for some reason men make the squinty face and women don't. And then you're like, men and women treat this thing that entering their body differently. What is it that women say? You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
like
That's
that.
great. Yeah, because then I show them what I've done, and then with a new funny example,
Right.
now I can show them the work. So I'm not taking away from either of those. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So
Thank you,
anyway,
Brett. Perfect.
That doctor.
It went to his head already.
Perfect. Oh my.
All right, we are back, baby.
All right. Well, thanks for
Alright.
listening to my joke, guys. Great feedback. Who's up next in the order?
And then lastly, we've got Anthony Keffer.
Anthony
And cleanup.
What a surprise. I had no idea that I was next in the order.
Oh, actually, I think it's Mango Las Vegas is next.
And go Las Vegas. There is a 10-episode break between when I make that joke and when we call it back.
Wow.
You really got to listen to all the episodes, people.
Yeah,
Really
we definitely
do.
reward loyalty here on this show.
We'll do a chart of when you should listen to which episode for which callbacks. Make sure to listen to this episode within 3 days of this episode.
There should be hyperlinks to
Oh,
like
yeah.
a web of callbacks. Which I like.
Do they do that in comic books when like they introduce a character and they're like, well, if you don't remember, Blue Fist, you got to go back to issue 85.
I wouldn't know, but that sounds like a great idea. Especially since, like, comic books do bring a lot of characters back. So
Am I the person who knows the most about comic books here?
Sounds like you want to be.
I've never read a single comic book. I have some.
I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm perfect.
My friend lent me JLA
really
Avengers. He wants me to read this.
Ooh.
We're supposed to read them?
It's a crossover. Yeah, I think you read them, and then you look at pictures.
I thought you only read them if you were a movie director considering making it into a movie.
Yeah,
don't
because
really-
the script is already there.
Yeah.
It's very easy.
I got some Supermans too for some reason.
Those look old.
Yeah, he's really behind.
Try to catch up. I think I start in the 30s. and work my way up.
All right. Anthony Keffer.
Okay. I got one or two. I got one or two things that I tweeted that maybe could be jokes, but maybe not. So you let me know.
Let you know what.
Is this anything?
Boo. Boo. Everybody hates this.
I think I said nice, and Rob did a wacky, wavy, inflatable arm flailing two-man thing. So I wouldn't say everybody hates.
No, everybody, you guys are just being nice. Everybody hates it.
I love it.
Wait, I wasn't even going to say it, but you guys were like,
Yeah, I made
what
him
does that
say
mean?
it,
What
but
does
I
it
also
trap.
do hate it.
It was a trap.
mean? I fell for it. Here's my idea. My dog likes to stretch out at night, so I usually sleep at the foot of the bed.
I like that. I did remember reading this. I thought it was very funny then.
Not so much now, though.
Could that
Like
be a
grape
joke?
juice. It gets worse with
Oh,
time.
I think it needs a little bit more. I would like to just a little bit more of role reversal with the dog and you. Something else that would play in there. It's definitely close to something, but I don't think it's quite something yet.
So right now it's not anything, but it's something.
Yeah, it's
Ooh, very philosophical. What do you think about phrasing it like, my dog likes to stretch out at night, which is fine, because I usually sleep at the foot of the bed.
yeah.
Okay.
So, just to be clear, you're playing on the idea that someone might not want their. Well, what would a human say? They say, "Oh, I like to stretch my legs out." So,
I had a
the
nickel
dog
for every
sleeps at the
time Rob said, "What do humans say?"
coming from the guy who's like, if a rape joke presents itself, that's what I say to the girl, right?
That is a harsh paraphrase of what I said.
I don't understand. All the elements were there.
I'm not really doing a play on humans saying they like to stretch or anything like that. I'm just presenting the problem, which is your dog sleeps with you and your dog is stretching out, taking up a lot of room. But then I'm saying it's not a problem for me because I sleep at the foot of the bed anyway. And the
Okay,
dog is
so what about this? Because I think I would like it if there was a play on like a normal trope, which is like a dog stretches out in the bed, so you can't sleep in the bed. So right now it's my dog stretches out when we sleeps in bed with me, and he stretches out, which is fine because I sleep at the foot of the bed. He's the alpha.
Oh, okay, alpha, yeah. It's she's a girl, but that's okay.
She's the alpha's even funnier.
And it's very progressive.
Very progressive.
I can't operate on this dog. It's the alpha. Whoa! Whoa!
Wait a
Okay,
minute.
let's figure this out.
For those of you, check the hyperlink earlier in the episode.
38
It's
minutes
a link to
ago.
this episode.
We're just caught on this weird hyperloop.
We're gonna
Very
rack
meta.
up a lot of views this way, guys.
It's actually a hyperlink to next week's episode, which is weird because
Oh,
I almost want to
hyperdrive for that.
say that sleeping at the foot of the bed is like, it's like I understand what you're doing, like you're taking the dog's role, but I honestly think that the thing that's funnier about it is subjugating to the will of the dog. And so it might be funnier to be like, I'll just sleep on the couch.
Okay, or I was thinking of saying the floor because that is where people would imagine the dog
yeah,
would sleep, maybe on the floor next to the bed, or there's like a dog bed on the floor, which maybe that could be that could be where it goes. I sleep on the floor in the dog bed.
The logic to that would suggest for me that, at some point people have to make the decision to not let the dog sleep in the bed anymore for whatever reason. Maybe the dog gets too big. So my misdirect would be that, my girlfriend and I got this puppy and, dog's getting too, we used to always let it sleep in the bed with us, but the dog's just getting too big now. So, I sleep on the floor. So where, the solution to the problem of the dog getting too big is that now you sleep at the foot of the bed, or you sleep on the floor, or you sleep on the couch or whatever.
I also think that if you do end up sleeping in the dog bed, you should correct yourself and go, sorry, Anthony bed.
It's weird that the dog was able to put my name on the side of it. I don't know how that happened. Even though it's not factually correct, I do like your idea, Rob, about the dog getting too big.
Well, you know what? My original question was because I misunderstood the joke, I guess. I did think that for some reason, something about, like, that's why dogs sleep at the foot of the bed. I don't know. For whatever reason, I thought that there was a role reversal there, but I guess there was less of one than I thought.
I was actually thinking about when dogs do that stretch with like their front paws out and their butt in the air. I thought this was going to be a joke about your dog doing that every night. And so that worked as a misdirect for me as well, because I thought that was going to be a completely different joke. And then you just like, I sleep on the foot of the bed. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's funny. But I don't know if that needs to be changed. These are just thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm just saying words, guys.
I'm curious so Rob, you thought that the role reversal was because something to do with the stretching out, like people like to stretch out.
Yeah, I was stupid. I thought I don't own a dog, so I don't know what I don't know what people.
No, Rob, what you said was great. My thing was stupid.
Guys, you are both stupid.
Thank you, Anthony.
And then Jarrett, your thing was that
I didn't even realize that had to do with like maybe pushing you out of bed, which I also don't think is necessarily a problem.
I thought I got the joke. Based off of your feedback and the fact that your feedback was dumb, I have no idea what the joke is.
Brett, you're the only smart person here.
But wait, Brett, you're the only one who never gets my jokes.
I don't. I'm back to. I thought I did.
The joke is just supposed to be that the dog takes up so much room that I have to sleep at the foot of the bed, which is where most people usually have their dog sleeping.
Yeah, so then I was right. It's a role reversal. I get the joke. What is
my dog's on the pillow, stretched out, and I'm at the foot of the bed.
Because humans don't put the dog at the foot of the bed because they like to stretch out. That doesn't track for me. It's not because I like to stretch out the dog sleeps at the foot of the bed. So that's why I was like, oh, is that I don't know. I just ignored that part and went, that must be a thing, I guess. I don't know. But that's what confused me, I guess.
But if you were stretched out like this, then
I'd have my dog right here under my armpit. Be like, hey, buddy. I love you.
There's plenty of room on my crotch.
Who's gonna look up?
Okay, so the stretching out is what throws you off.
What? Can you say
takes up too much room? I guess I have to say my dog takes up too much room at night.
I don't know. Maybe the stretching out is right. I'm not sure. I'm confused now. God damn it.
I mean, as somebody who has cuddled with dogs before, when they do stretch out like that, they'll just claw you, and so to me that tracks. But they will just push their paws into you.
Yeah, there's no, you can't cuddle. When a person does it, you can cuddle with them, but a dog is just taking up all the room like this, and you can't like lie down on top of their legs.
Yeah.
And whenever I try to move her around, she thinks that I'm trying to get her to leave. She doesn't understand the idea, like if I wanted her to move over like 3 inches so that I could fit.
See, that I think is funnier.
Really?
This misunderstanding of like you're sleeping at the foot of the bed because if you try to move her at all, she'll be like, oh, you hate me, and leave.
Yeah, that's what she does.
And so you're like, I'll just sleep at the foot of the bed, and that I think is a funnier.
Okay, all right. So now we're getting somewhere.
Well, what would the normal solution be? My dog likes to stretch out in bed. So what does a normal, sane human do in that scenario?
You don't let them sleep in between you.
See that visualization. Does that track for you, Anthony? That you're not letting them sleep between you because it's stretching?
I think maybe somebody else would just tell the dog to get up and go sleep somewhere else, whether it's at the foot of the bed or somewhere else in the room.
I'm imagining three parallel lines: female, male, dog, and I just don't understand how a dog stretching is affecting these two other.
Because the
dogs don't stand upright.
The dog is like this.
Like this.
Why is the dog perpendicular to the two people? I don't understand.
No, like
dogs' arms.
Because
like
dogs don't understand geometry, Rob.
Dogs don't do this.
So
the dog is straight out with the hands
I've
and
seen
feet.
dogs stretch out their arms.
But that's not how they rest. They're gonna rest where their bones are structured, which is out in front of them.
So why are we saying stretch? Isn't it the problem that he's in a ball? I'm very confused.
No, it's not a ball. The ball
so he likes
is
to stretch like.
the ball is ideal. Sometimes she's in a ball, and then I can just find some room around her. But sometimes she's like this, and there's no place for me because that's taking up like 1.5 of the spaces. So I could sort of squeeze my way a little bit, but if I try to move her hands or try to like move her body in any way, she just gets up like I'm upset at her.
Gotcha.
Like I don't want her around.
I understand the geometry of this now. I've seen dogs stretch out the other way too. I mean, we're talking about cat cow. I was talking about, you're talking about cow. That's how cows stretch.
Oh, my dog is actually a cow. This is maybe the most bizarre misunderstanding of any of my jokes.
You could include in the joke for people like Rob, if anybody's having trouble visualizing this, just imagine how a cow sleeps.
Or maybe you could just say, if anybody's new to Earth.
What would a human do in this situation? Oh, God.
It's so funny because I thought you guys would just either give me a thumbs up or thumbs down or like 1 or 2 tags, and then I'd have to have one of my other ideas ready.
Do you understand that every time
we are taking up the whole time?
Dog stretching. I mean, like, that's a dog stretching. Okay, there is no additional.
But that's not a dog sleeping. That's a dog.
But you say
stretching is different.
Oh, okay.
Stretching out.
Yeah,
in bed.
Every time you say stretching out, I get the same image in my head of a dog just doing this and going, yeah, I feel good about that.
Yeah, sideways.
This way.
But the dog is doing that. The dog is
on its
in
side.
the bed.
On its side, right.
Yeah, look.
Right. No, I
think the only way for us to solve this is Rob has to get in bed with the dog.
That's the only thing I can imagine happening. See, here's the thing too. I keep on imagining the dog waking up and then actively stretching and then going back to sleep.
No, it's a constant.
Yeah. Okay.
People are gonna hear this discussion and they're gonna be like, "Talk about the order some more."
My dog likes to stretch out at night, so I just sleep at the foot of the bed, if she lets me.
Yeah. I mean, because of all this discussion, I probably have to change it to.
You should probably give away your dog. After this. I don't know.
It probably has to be that my dog takes up too much room in bed, because stretching is really confusing everybody.
No, it's just confusing Rob because he's an alien.
Just Rob.
Why can't you get this dog?
How would that even help me with the legs spread like that? Where do I go in that?
Between the legs.
I don't see that as a solution.
Use them like
from this joke, did you ever think about getting a bigger bed?
It's a good tag, Jarrett. Jarrett, why do you keep muting?
Kirsten's on a conference call. I thought we'd be done by now.
Okay, I'm very sorry. I think I understand everything now.
But this is a really good system for keeping me from interrupting you guys.
I just texted Kirsten, hey, can you go on a conference call? He's a little mouthy today.
Okay. So I think maybe I got some things there.
There's no chance you got anything there.
I think I had good suggestions.
Yeah.
I also understand
I think we all had good
what dogs
suggestions.
are, what beds are, what speaking is.
Anyway, that's the idea.
Regardless of how you fix this joke, you have to include Anthony Bed at some point.
So,
Anthony, do you have another joke you want to try?
Oh. Panic attacks are really good cardio. You got anything for that?
good night.
Instead of going for a mile run, I've just been. I don't know what will give
Having
you
an existential crisis?
What would give you an existential crisis?
Thinking about going for a run.
I was gonna say thinking about climate change, but going for a run is funny too.
Yeah, I like going for a run. Yeah, I like the idea of you wearing a Fitbit and it's just like it's going off. You're like, oh shit, look at this.
Good enough.
Having a real workout right now.
Gotta get my sweats in.
And my mind can run a mile a minute, so that's actually
really good too.
That's great.
I like that.
All right, I should have opened with this one.
Do you think it would be funny to also say, like, for your cool down, you get depression?
That's great.
Oh,
Just to get
that
myself
is
back
really
to a
good.
nice low resting heart rate.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that was perfect.
Oh, too perfect.
That's great.
I don't know what to say, guys.
Which is actually a first for you.
Between that and my restless leg syndrome, it's like, I'm an athlete. I run a marathon. I like the idea too that maybe one day you are actually having a heart attack and you're just like, oh, thank God it's not a panic attack. I'm so sick of this.
This may work well into your other joke about thinking that you have high cheekbones, but you just have bags under your eyes.
When I was wondering if I had brought that joke to you guys when you said your thing, Brett, about the girl had the bag under her eyes. I was like, oh, I should bring that joke, but I forgot I already did. How would this fit with?
Because it's similar of like my note at least then was similar in that it turns out I have this thing that's bad that I thought was good, but it's actually shitty.
Oh yeah, because I think I have high cheekbones, but I just have bags under my eyes.
Yeah.
And then
I thought I was in
panic
great shape,
attacks.
but it just turns out that panic attacks are really good cardio.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Or so I don't know. Somebody compliments me. They're like, are you working out? No, panic attacks. Great cardio.
Well, at least you have those high cheekbones now. It's not sleeping, so
Yeah, getting
bags
no
under my
sleep.
eyes. The panic.
I'm a model. I'm skinny. I got the. But really, I just look like Steve Buscemi wasting away.
What gym do you go to? It's just a mental rehab facility.
What
I
gym
don't
do you
go
go to? My life is a nightmare.
Do you even worry, bro?
They say, well, what gym do you go to? I was
Excellent.
say, my insurance doesn't cover therapy anymore.
Nice.
That's great.
That felt like
All right,
that
so-
certainly felt like something.
Yeah. There's some good stuff in there, and thank you for your feedback.
Someone do an outro.
Okay. What is a dog?
Oh, this is a tough one. I've heard of them.
This is the only riddle Rob can't get.
I don't know.
What is a human?
I mean, something that stretches like that? I don't know. How am I supposed to know? I thought dogs stretch like this, and you're telling me that they just sit there like that. So you're showing me a standing dog.
They can.
couldn't
Sometimes.
possibly.
It's not the only way she stretches.
Was Rob, Jarrett, Brett, Anthony. That was our order this week.
Woo! Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you guys so much for watching and liking, subscribing, and supporting us in every way that you can. We love seeing the comments. We love when you guys come out to the live shows, and we love making the show and that you guys enjoy it. So keep on watching,
love
keep on
making.
listening, and ignore what Anthony just said.
You said love making.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Check back for more individual clips and full episodes every Monday, or you can listen wherever you enjoy podcasts. If you want to support the show and get access to special fan-only content, go to patreon.com/ITAPod. That's ITAPod, as in Is This Anything Podcast. Relevant links in the description. Take care.